What's going on, everybody? It's AquaLeaderJesse back again with another SomecallmeJohnny reaction. This time we have SGB review Resident Evil 5. I think I've seen this one before. Before he did Johnny versus Resident Evil 5. Pretty sure. Did do verses on Resident Evil 5, right? I think. Regardless, let's hop in.
Okay, it's about time that I go back to reviewing some games, and what better way to start than review the recently released Resident Evil 5. Alright, I'm going to admit, I didn't even begin playing the series until my brother Mark one day decided to get Resident Evil 4 for the
Mark, that's the
GameCube.
other brother I couldn't
Thank
remember the
goodness he
name
did.
of.
Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. In fact, I own all three versions of it, with the exception of the PC version.
You own all three versions. Boy, brother, you I don't think you knew what you were in for when saying you're getting all of them.
Which I heard was a half-assed port anyway. Now, I was familiar with the franchise before then, but I never took interest in it. It wasn't until after playing the fourth one that I decided to go back and play the old games. I played and beaten Resident Evil 1, well, the remake on the GameCube, and it was okay. It was certainly more difficult. I played and beaten
Resident Evil Remake was okay. Resident Evil Remake is freaking awesome. What's he gonna say about RE2?
Evil 2, which I definitely found more enjoyable than the first one, remake
Okay, fair.
or not. And then I played and beaten Resident Evil 3, definitely my least favorite of the bunch.
Damn, I love Resident Evil 3.
I also took a gander at Resident Evil Survivor, which I put down minutes after playing, and then I played a bit of Resident Evil Outbreak, which wasn't that stellar to me at all, and because of that, I never took interest in its sequel, Outbreak File Number 2.
I haven't played the Outbreak games, to be honest, because I've been needing to emulate them, but I haven't gotten around to it. I don't have a physical copy of them yet either. I did always think it was interesting how it uses the movies title font as opposed to the video games.
The only ones I haven't really played are Resident Evil 0 and
Resident Evil 0 gets too much hate, if you ask me. I think Resident Evil 0 is actually pretty darn good. I enjoy Resident Evil 0.
Evil Code Veronica, which is considered a classic by many. Regardless, thanks to the internet and playing Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, I was able to catch up with the game story-wise. Resident Evil 5 takes place 10 years after the original Resident Evil and stars series veteran Chris Redfield, who's definitely done a serious amount of training montages in between Code Veronica and this game. No longer a member of STARS, he's now part of the organization BSAA, which specializes in anti-bioterrorism. He's sent to Africa, where he's accompanied by Sheva Alomar, who speaks with an Afro-Brit-Australian accent. And I say that because it's hard to distinguish whether her accent is African, British, or Australian.
My name is Sheva Alomar.
I thought she was saying an Afro-Brazilian accent. So confused.
Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Redfield. You okay? You don't have to get touchy.
Anyway, upon beginning the mission, they are attacked by the townspeople who are infected with Las Plagas, the same parasite that caused all that shit in Resident Evil 4. These people, however, are much more aggressive, and by that, I mean they run this time. The first half of the story involves Chris and Sheva looking for a terrorist dealer named Ricardo Irvin, who in my opinion has the largest forehead of any character in the franchise. His voice acting is also pretty damn laughable.
Oh, I'm not like them. I'm a businessman with standards. Whoa! Suckers! Whoa! You're making me look bad!
The second half of the game brings the return of known villain Albert Wesker.
The bloom in this game is crazy. I know that's kind of how games were at the time, but like, man.
Who's planning on infecting the entire world with a parasite known as Ouroboros. Because Wesker is so juiced up on the virus he injected himself with in the first game, he's now fallen into that stereotype villain where he views himself as a god and wishes to start mankind anew with a creature that looks like something I crapped out last night. Alright, so any of those who haven't played the game yet or have no idea what the story is about, I warn you now. This next bit is spoiler heavy, but you should have seen it coming in the first place! In the middle of the game, it's implied through flashbacks that Jill Valentine, our lovable heroine from the first game and third game, is dead. However, it turns out that the mysterious woman in the bird mask who helps the bad guys throughout the entire game turns out to be indeed Jill Valentine.
What? It is? Oh, what the fuck?
Chris and Sheva manage to make Jill snap out of it and continue their hunt for Wesker. There's also this Excella chick that stands by Wesker.
She's under she's being controlled. I don't think they're really, that Johnny did a job explaining that part. But yeah, she's under their control because of this thing that's on her.
Side throughout the story, thinking herself as a queen to Wesker's kingship attitude. But I found her pretty damn forgettable, and what happens to her in the end was also pretty predictable, but mysteriously satisfying. After fighting with an overgrown Ouroboros, the two are ready to take on Wesker himself. Wesker intends on spreading Ouroboros via a stealth bomber where it will ensure complete global saturation. Chris and Sheva won't let that happen and take on Wesker inside the giant plane. Okay, I'm kidding. Chris manages to throw the override switch, causing the plane to crash land inside an active volcano. The two manage to survive the crash and... Wait a minute, are you serious? The two are standing mere feet away from active lava flow. The sheer amount of heat inside the place should burn them to a crisp. I mean, I know it's a video game, but come on. Anyway, it turns out Wesker survived the crash as well, looking a lot like Liquid Snake from the end of Metal Gear Solid.
I never really thought of that, but yeah, he does.
He emerges himself with Ouroboros and attempts to kill the two. During the fight, the two get separated, and it's up to Chris to reunite the two by moving
here
a
we go.
large boulder to create a stepping stone
Here we go.
to use to get across. Wait, what?
Punch that shit. Punch that shit. Punch that shit. Punch that shit. Punch that shit.
He's punching the boulder! Chris Redfield. If pushing doesn't do it, you can always punch it. With the real superpower of teamwork, Chris and Sheva managed to defeat Wesker. And by defeat, I mean massacre him.
More! More!
Wesker falls into the lava flow looking somewhat like the T-1000 in the end of Terminator 2, with Chris and Sheva escaping via helicopter.
Do you think you got him?
Wesker attempts to take the two down with him, but in true Resident Evil fashion, Chris and Sheva whip out the rocket launchers and send Wesker into oblivion. The helicopter flies into the sunset, and that's where the game ends. How climatic. Resident Evil 5 plays exactly like its predecessor, Resident Evil 4. Gameplay is divided into chapters, and the camera is switched to an over-the-shoulder perspective, allowing...
The tank controls are still weird to me on this one. But in the original RE4 kind of throw me off. Those with the fixed camera angles work better with the tank controls, if you ask me, but I think just the tank controls aged more poorly with these versions than with these games than the fixed camera games.
allowing you to see what the character sees. This allows you great freedom over where you can shoot the enemy, giving a different result depending on where you shoot. You can also stun enemies and deliver fierce melee attacks, which is a great alternative in case you run short of ammo, in the unlikely event that happens. You also have a knife, or as I call it, the short sword, because that sucker is a little too big in my eyes to be considered a knife. In single player mode, you can control either Chris or Sheva, with the computer controlling whoever you didn't pick. The game is heavily co-op based. You need to work together with your partner in order to get through the many obstacles the game throws at you. Though the single player is nice, the gameplay is much better when you have a buddy to tag along with you, either through split screen, system link, or online. 2 players is certainly better than 1. The inventory setup is also a bit different this time. Throughout the game, your inventory is limited to only 9 spaces, and it's all real time, meaning while you're looking through your stuff, the game is still playing, so you better be quick with your item management or else you're going to regret it. Weapons come in all flavors. You have the classic handguns, shotguns, machine guns, magnums, sniper rifles, and everything else that comes in all sorts. And by collecting money scattered throughout the areas, you can upgrade them in between chapters to increase their firepower, ammo capacity, reload speed, and other things the gun might come with. Upon maxing out the upgrades for a weapon, you can also unlock infinite ammo for it, making killing enemies more satisfying and fun. Besides cosmetic differences, Chris and Sheva play exactly the same, the only real difference being that Chris is on the left side while Sheva looks on the right side. Enemies come in different flavors as well. They can range from infected humans, dogs, giant insects known as reapers,
I always play as Sheva myself, because that's the only game you can play as her in. I can play as Chris in RE1.
alligators, spiders, and lickers, making a welcome return. The bosses come in different flavors as well, ranging from different versions of Ouroboros, the return of El Gigante, and whatever Las Plagas throws at you. Graphically speaking, the game is gorgeous. The amount of detail put into the characters and
Gorgeous for the time. I don't think it's aged very well. I think RE4 aged way better.
environment is spectacular. Everything else like reflections, lighting effects, and atmosphere are also amazing. This is definitely one of the best looking games on the 360 and PlayStation 3.
It was at the time. Now I think there are 360 games that aged a lot better, as I said.
Voice acting and lip syncing is also top notch, though in true Resident Evil fashion, the dialogue can be rather goofy and sometimes hilariously bad.
I have Ouroboros. I think the odds are fair. 2 on 2. Flame on, asshole!
Music-wise, it's pretty good.
Hmm.
The music team wanted to give the sound an action movie facelift, and overall, it sounds pretty cool. Speaking of an action movie, this is no longer the survival horror series some of you have grown to love. Now, I never considered Resident Evil scary. Yeah, it made me jump a few times, but overall, it was never scary.
I wonder if he still believes that.
Resident Evil 4 began to give the series a more action-filled, and it's even more rampant in this installment. There's never, and I mean never, a moment in this game that scares you. There are times when the intensity will rack up, yeah, but in terms of actual fear, there's none here. The game also sports 4 difficulty levels: amateur, normal, veteran, and professional. Between the first 3, the only real difference is the amount of damage you take, but in professional mode, that's when things get ridiculous. In professional mode, just about everything, and I mean everything, can kill you in one hit. One hit! And if for some unfortunate reason you're trying to beat professional mode with a computer-controlled partner, why? That's not to say the AI is terrible, but it wastes ammo and healing items like there's nothing else. Say I want to knock down an enemy and strike it with my knife because I want to save ammunition. The AI won't give a damn, will continue to unload showers of bullets upon the downed prey. Stop it already! Jesus, I want you to save those bullets! Sure, you're a crack shot with a sniper rifle, but come on, stop it! The boss fights are also incredibly easy. With the exception of professional mode, just about every boss fight is really simple. It's probably because the method of defeating them is made so blatantly obvious that it's as if the game doesn't think you're capable of figuring out how to defeat the boss yourself. Secondly, although it may be just me, but the pacing of this game is terribly outplaced. Up until the beginning of Chapter 3, the game is fast-paced and definitely brimming with action. Then upon reaching the marshlands and until you finish the temple area, the game comes to almost an immediate halt with you attempting to solve the only puzzles the game has to offer. I can safely say the marshlands and the temple area are my least favorite areas of the game. The puzzles aren't even that brain-taxing either, making me wonder why it was even put there in the first place.
Yeah, I hate when RE games have like stupid simple puzzles. I like figuring them out.
The game also brings back the Mercenaries minigame, where you can try to achieve a high score by killing as many enemies as you can. There are over 8 areas you can travel in with over 10 characters you can choose from. Well, actually there's only 4 because the rest are just costume swaps of the same character. Seriously, Captain, what the hell? All in all, Resident Evil 5 is a damn good game. Though I'm gonna be honest, I don't find it as enjoyable as Resident Evil 4.
I don't think that's a very hot take.
Sure, it has prettier graphics and a kick-ass multiplayer, but there's just something about Resident Evil 4 I love so much more. I don't know, maybe it's because I haven't given Resident Evil 5 enough time to soak in, but until then, I still hold Resident Evil 4 in higher regard. With that said, I'm going to give Resident Evil 5 around an 8.5 out of 10, and
I think that's a bit high, personally. I would give it like a 7.5. For a single player, and an 8 if you're playing multiplayer.
definitely recommend it, especially with a friend.
Well, honestly, I mean, his take is his take, I suppose. I think he liked it more than I did. I still think Resident Evil 5 is good, but it's just such a drastic, step down from RE4 for me. But, yeah, I guess that's just how things be sometimes. But with that being said, make sure you follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AquaLeaderJesse, where all of my videos are recorded first, so they will always upload here afterwards. And thank you everybody for watching. Catch you in the next one. Goodbye.